Hello everyone, this is Carmine from New York. This is photo class number 324. Hit the subscribe button. Why? Because I've been a photographer here in Manhattan since 1973. Let's go! Guys, thumbs up please, comment below, and I'd like you to meet Hector, a friend of mine from Germany. He was born in 1960. Hello everybody, this is Carmine from New York, photojournalist here in New York City for the last 5 decades. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to learn a lot on this channel. Okay, let's jump into it. This lens is the Leica 135mm f4.5 prime lens, full frame, M mount, mounted on this beautiful Leica SL, which is an L mount. So there's a little adapter right here that connects the M mount Leica to the L mount camera, the Leica SL Type 601. This lens is absolutely gorgeous. Now, why am I discussing this lens from 1960? Number one, it's a Leica lens. But you'll notice on the front, it doesn't say Leica exactly. It says Leitz, L-I-T-Z. Who is that? That was the owner of Leica. His name was Ernest Leitz. Did you know that Leica didn't officially change their name of the company to Leica until the 1980s? This is true. It was always known as Leitz. Yes, Leitz. Not Leica, it was known as Leitz. And that's what's marked on this lens. So, this is a prime lens made in 1960 in the Leica factory for lenses. Guys, there's only 4 elements in this whole lens. An element is a piece of glass, and that's exactly what you should look for. Lenses with very low number of elements, because elements steal light and information. All right, now we're going to jump into this because I'm very excited about this lens. It's $70. This Leica prime lens made in Germany, all metal construction, including a tripod mount on the bottom, is under $100. I can't believe it either. Why is it so inexpensive? Because the new photographers out there think that older or vintage or antique lenses are no good. Guess what? Do you think back in the 60s when these lenses were being made that the engineers and the optic technicians didn't care or didn't know enough about photography to make great lenses? The reason they're inexpensive is because people think if they buy a $3,000 Leica lens, it'll be better than this $70 prime lens. I have many photographs that I took with this lens in this episode, and I'll be showing them to you throughout this whole video. It has 15 rounded aperture blades, but they're not just any aperture blades. The aperture on this lens, no matter what the f-stop, keeps a perfect round circle. Not shaped like a stop sign, not an octagon or a pentagon. Perfectly round aperture, no matter at what f-stop. Okay, now the photos that you're going to be seeing throughout this video, I took them all with the Leica SL on aperture priority, the lens was set at f8. Why f8? You guys know the answer to that if you've been following me all 320 plus episodes. F8 is the sharpest f-stop on most lenses ever made. Okay, of course it's manual focus. The focus ring is here. The aperture ring is right up front. It's very simple. There's no autofocus. There's no optical image stabilization. In fact, the Leica SL doesn't even have IBIS, in-body image stabilization. You have to use older techniques like how to take a picture without moving the camera. Slow, steady squeezes, just like shooting anything you might want to shoot. Slow, steady squeezes, click, let the shutter go off like a surprise. Don't jerk it. Okay, we're gonna keep going. The front on this model uses 39mm filters. Now, mine did not come with a hood, but I highly recommend it. These are only $5, the metal lens hood on Amazon, not a sponsor. Okay, I picked this one up. It was under $10 and it's nice and long because this is a telephoto. Why do I highly recommend the lens hood on this lens? Lens flare. It does not like when the light source is in front of it. Always use this lens with the light to your back. Okay, it's pretty heavy because it's all metal. It's 435 grams. You can get adapters for this lens. This is an M mount. You can get adapters for this lens to fit almost any camera brand. It doesn't have to be a Leica. Okay, speaking about Leica, okay, the word Leica it's not named after anything in particular, okay? Just like Kodak, there's no such thing as a Kodak, right? But when George Eastman had to come up with a name for his company, Kodak, it took quite a while. He hired linguists to come up with a word that could be pronounced in any language around the world, and it would all sound the same. Kodak. You can go anywhere on any continent, say the word Kodak back then, and they would know, oh, you want to buy film? Here you go. Pretty similar to the word Leica. Ernest Leitz, L-E-I-T-Z, he came up with the brand name Leica this way. He took the first three letters of his last name, L-E-I, and the first two letters of the word camera, C-A. L-E-I-C-A. L-E-I from Leitz, C-A from camera. And that's how, in the 1980s, the company officially changed its name, officially, to Leica, not Leitz. Okay, let's keep rolling. What else did I want to tell you about this? Some of the lenses manufactured depending on when it was made. These were made for a very long time, 40 years. If you buy one and it's older, and if it was made before World War II, your elements are not going to be coated. If you buy a lens that was made after World War II, they coated the lens, okay? It's not that important, but I prefer if you were to get one that had coated elements. It helps with contrast and color. Okay, so back to how I shot all these photographs that you're watching. Aperture priority, f8, manual focus, ISO 50, because the day I took these photos, it's not that it was a sunny day, it was a bright day. It was one of these wintry, overcast days, but very bright. That's why I shot it on ISO 50, and it still gave me shutter speeds on aperture priority well into the 1 200th of a second, 1 1600th of a second. Okay, you want higher shutter speeds if you're going to shoot handheld without a tripod and your camera doesn't have in-body image stabilization on the sensor or optical image stabilization inside the lens. Okay, so I told you about the lens hood, the brand name Leica. Let's take a look at the photographs taken with this combination. The HEKTOR Leica 135mm f4.5 prime telephoto lens mounted on the Leica SL2 Type 601. Let's go. Hit the subscribe button.